Hey everybody, back again for another late session, unfortunately. Gonna be doing Lion-O this evening. Um, I gotta get better with these. Get back up to date in the 2 to 4 p.m. window. But it's just been so busy with the website and stuff, and I apologize for that. But anyway, we're gonna knock this out. I'm gonna share it over on the page real quick, and for the Facebook Live, and for the YouTube channel. And we're going to knock this one out and get it done really quick. There we go. Cool deal. So, with that said, hey gang, how you doing? Gonna get right into this with the flesh tones here, and I'm gonna use a classic E13 for this, for Lion-O's basic skin tone, the darker areas, and knock this out real quick for this base. So this one dries really smooth and it has a great tone to it. But yeah, just been knocking stuff out and getting things done and trying to get everything up and running, and just been dealing with people trying to provoke things since the podcast went live, you know, people coming up and asking for stuff and favors and whatnot, and then dealing with a couple of different people trying to cause, you know, link bait fights and stuff like that in forums and stuff, and it's just crazy trying to avoid all the drama, you know, all the politics aside, then artists acting crazy and you know, calling people out over stupid stuff, and as they quoted it, and, you know, making a problem with people. But that's I don't call things stupid stuff much. I just find it insulting for some reason. But yeah, they're passing judgment on criticism of art and all that good stuff, and it's just, oh man, just drama, unnecessary drama. And I still I'm still friends with the people, and, you know, I just avoid it. It's just, I don't want to argue, you know. No need to argue about it. Let them have it. Move on. So if you get tied up in that stuff, if you see somebody, you know, coming at you over something, which they will, because it's a sign of your progression, and, you know, you taking a stand on something and having a voice, you know, it's just one of those things. In this particular case, an artist said that, you know, someone was comparing him to another artist, and he got offended by it and took it as an insult rather than being cool because it was a similar look, you know. I find it sad, is what I find. And you know, then people came on and started going after other people, you know, saying, you know, well, stroke the ego, and that's not the case, and da 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 da, and petted it, you know. It's just unnecessary drama. And I see it all over the web here lately, especially on Facebook with artists, you know. Let people have their opinions, man. It's just an opinion. You know what I mean? Don't be taking it personal. And if you're marketing online and you're doing stuff and you're knocking it out, what do you have to defend, you know? And if someone's like you know, I don't like it when people compare me to other artists either, and I totally agree with that. But when you make it personal by calling a comment silly, or calling them stupid for having a separate opinion, or calling them wrong, or whatever, you know, that's a flat out insult to people. And, you know, you got to be more professional than that. And I'm seeing all these people come out and having all their personal opinions get flared up into what shouldn't be discussed. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be attacking other people for their opinion and difference. If you bring up the topic and you say someone has a similarity to your style, or is saying that you have a similarity in your style, you shouldn't be calling them names, you know, like you're in the schoolyard. You should be saying, okay, why is that person saying that? Does my stuff really look that way? Or, you know, thank you, I appreciate it, and then move on. But, you know, some people like to get flamboyant about it and make it personal, and it shouldn't be. And it's always humorous to me to see how that comes about, because people just take offense to stuff, and they're so hypersensitive about likes and dislikes and disagreements online, being so critical and crucial to who they really are, they've forgotten that because they've got that mob mentality of coming after people because of the fact that they disagree with them, and drawing a line in the sand and saying, yeah, yes. And it's gotten to where it gets personal, it got personal to the point today where I just was like, okay, maybe Facebook isn't the place to be anymore, because there's nothing you can do about it when they have that mob mentality and come after you, and it's stupid to do that. Now that is stupid because it's immature and it's unprofessional, and you shouldn't do that and put your career at risk for that. Just because you're at the top right now doesn't mean you'll stay there if you go around calling your fans names and stuff. And that's what makes it a bad deal. You know what I mean? So what I like to do is tell you guys about this, plain and simple. If you're out there, keep your opinions, to yourself when people come at you, and try to speak logically if you can. But if it gets nasty, just leave it alone, because they'll keep harping and harping and harping, and then 20 people will get on and haul you through the mud or whatever in that one post, and it doesn't matter. Don't make it personal, because it's not. I mean, so what if someone compares your artwork to someone else's? Everybody looks at everybody else's stuff for examples and reference all the time. And to say they don't, they're flat out lying. Because I do. I don't look at reference while I'm drawing, but I look for an inspirational reference. So I'll look at a piece and go, okay, cool, I like that, and move on, I have a routine where I go on and scope out all kinds of stuff from, Google is my friend for reference. And I pull stuff up all the time. And be sure to check out, what you do, because you might pick up an influence or an inspirational piece, an influential piece, or some kind of artistic influence from someone else and not even realize it. And then your stuff looks similar. And then when someone says something, you freak out about it because, oh my gosh, that jaw is blocky. Like so-and-so, or this is bad, or this is over detailed, or this is too cartoony, or this is too good, or you really pulled it off, you're at the level of so-and-so. And I see people take that crap all the time and take it way too personal. Don't do that. There's no need. You could lose friendships over that. I mean, yeah, it's social media friendships, but still, I like to consider friendships universal now, because of the fact of the scale that we can make good friends on it. I don't see the point in personally attacking people unless you have a bigger issue and maybe you took something too highly in regard as far as that quote unquote influence goes. Because I mean, I have things that I like. I talk about Greg Capullo all the time, and I know I have a lot of different techniques that I take from his older work. And the reason is because when he did Spawn, he had such a graphic look that Todd McFarlane did a lot to inspire and hone. And then, he's got Greg's got his own following and his own right to that. And to be compared to that guy is freaking awesome for me. I mean, and I don't like being compared. I like my work to stand out as my work. I want it to be recognizable as my work. But do I take offense to it? No. And you shouldn't. If you look like someone else, and if your artwork looks like someone else's and your fans are out there supporting it, why get bent? Unless you're possibly following through too much and maybe copying something, which you shouldn't take it that personal. I mean, like I said, everybody's influencing their artwork from everybody else's that they follow and like. And if a fan says you look like so-and-so, in your artwork, so what? They're still reading the stuff, Be glad they're taking an interest. And it's just one of those things, man. I don't want anybody to ever feel obligated or insulted by that, because of the fact that it shouldn't be about calling someone a name because of the fact that you get a compliment or a comment from them. People tell me all the time, hey man, I really dig your comics, but I don't like your cards that much. The style is different, and it's quick and bulky and not as detailed and smooth as your page work. Well, I totally agree, because it isn't. This is a quick style, and it is my style, but it's a quick form, and that's what I do. But my comic pages tend to be way more laid out, but it's just, people tend to get butthurt by that stuff, and it shouldn't be about you taking it so personally that you feel you have to defend every line of your work. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be about that. And I feel so bad because of the fact that I even got involved in a couple of those conversations, because all I said was that, art's relative. And a couple of people took it personal and whatnot. And it's just horrible that it went that way for no reason other than the fact that, a couple of these artists are getting bent about it. And I see it all the time. And that's what I always say. Art's relative, take it with a grain of salt. Art's relative. It's a person's opinion. You don't have to worry about it. Just like this is mine. It's my opinion. It's not insulting anyone or coming after anyone particular. And I don't think that it should come to that. I mean, we're all adults here, or we're supposed to be anyway. And, I don't think it should be taken personal. And if you think it's personal and you got something to prove that, I'm not so-and-so, and you want to stomp and rave and all that, that's perfectly fine. That's cool. I totally leave you to that. But don't come at people because they have a difference of opinion and turn it on their ear like they're wrong. Because guess what? It's an opinion, just like yours is a personal opinion. There's no reason to come at someone like that. And, I see a lot of these guys get so uptight about their work and stuff, and they get bent about it, and I don't care. There's going to be critics. And the thing is, when you develop a style and a following, you have to understand that you have to be thick-skinned, because people are going to come at you, and some of them are not going to like your work. Some of them aren't. I've got some older stuff that I think sucks, and it's true, but it's a growing process. As I come through and I draw more and more and more and write more and more, it gets better and better. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to look at and start looking at it from a professional perspective, rather than taking a childish approach of, coming through and saying, oh, you insulted my work. Well, your skin's not thick enough. You need to work on that a little bit more for your personal well-being, so that you don't get eaten up, Exactly. Now, that's one of the... Johnny says it looks like my work looks like that Brad Linder guy he knows. So, but like I said, it's one of those things where I'm fishing for my dark red here. Hold on, bear with me. But that's where it comes down the line here. We've got to step back and look at this stuff and just say, okay, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be, diversified. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique, and it's okay to let other people have an opinion of what they see in your artwork. So, that's a big thing with me, and I teach my kids that all the time. The students that I work with and whatnot, I tell them all the time, don't take it personal when someone comes at you, because a professional editor will make you cry and ball up in the corner. I have to edit stuff all the time for people, and I constantly tell people, I'm sorry I can't do a review for you, because I'm really, really tough on that, because I have such a standard for the artists that I work with, and including myself. And a big thing is, I've been lashed out by a few editors. You know what I mean? And if you can't accept that, and you can't take criticism, then you're in the wrong business. And that's a big thing that we have to relax on, personally. You can't take it personal because they're talking about a drawing. That's that drawing they're talking about, not you. And if they say that they don't like that drawing, so what? It wasn't for them. So move on and leave it alone. But don't come at people and say, you say stupid stuff, or you say, silly stuff, or you're wrong, or you're ignorant, or whatever else you might say, and swear them down. Because of the fact that you have a difference of opinion. I see it all the time. Hey, Jimbo, glad you made it, man. Thanks for coming on, buddy. But, it's just, it's crazy stuff to be griping people out and cussing them out and whatnot, because you can't handle the fact that they have a difference of opinion, because they don't follow your suit. And if you're that type of artist, you definitely need to reevaluate, because you're living off ego. And if you think you're God's right hand, I beg to differ. You're not. and you need to calm down and chill out and not take your stuff so personally. I've seen many artists burn up over the last 4 or 5 years alone for that, because of the fact that they come at people and they go, I'm the king, you know, I'm this person, I'm that person. And then what they don't realize is they've already come up and, you know, hung themselves because they think that they're God's gift to everybody and claim such, self-proclaim such. And you shouldn't do that, you know. I'm very humble in my artwork. I love my artwork, but I'm confident about what I do and my skill. But granted, at the same token, though, I'm not going to tell somebody, you know, you suck because of the fact that you don't like my work. I'm not like that. And it's not a hater syndrome for someone to have a difference of opinion in your artwork. You know, I hear all the time that my artwork isn't what they like. And I'm like, okay, as long as you don't like my artwork, I appreciate that. And hopefully I'll be able to change your mind someday down the line when something clicks, you know. But until then, I appreciate the feedback and move on. And, you know, the lesson of the day is, you know, just relax. Stop taking this crap so personal. It's just comics and it's just art. If you're taking your artwork to personal heart to where it's you that's being critiqued and not the artwork, you're not ready to be a professional yet. Even if you've done it for decades on end, you can still be you know, a bad influence about it. And it's strange to hear that come from people that have been around so long. So, you know, I'm not calling anybody out or anything like that. I wouldn't do that because that would make me a hypocrite on that regard, and I'm not. I'm saying, for example, you know, like today, that was weird that even came down the line into a point. So, and I've seen it on 4 or 5 different posts today that artists are getting, you know, just explosive and ripping on their fans because they have a difference of opinion and taking it personal on that difference of opinion instead of taking it as a thank you and moving on. You know what I mean? So it's just people are looking for a fight constantly, and it's just crazy. Why look for a fight when you can look for comics and look for artwork and look for the good in anything and move forward and be above that? I see it all the time, and you know, like I said, it's just one of those things, man. People are out to have the now me function hit them in the face, and they get addicted to the hype of the internet and their own hype in, you know, their fan following and stuff. And if you do that, you're dead in the water because you're getting into territory that can mess you up. So don't do that. Don't follow suit. Don't get into that. Don't get into, you know, into the drama. Don't get into all that stuff, and move forward and make books. You know, let your art speak for itself, and don't worry about it. If people have an opinion, everybody's got one, and they're going to keep coming at you with it. But there's no reason to come at someone and say, you know, that there's an insult to injury and attack them for having a different view. So that's the point. That's the point. Right there. Anyway. That's part of the downfall of comics, unfortunately, is because of the fact that the internet has gotten so big and massive over the last 10 years that people forget that, you know, it's just a like. You know what I mean? It's not the make it or break it of the world to have a like or a dislike or whatever with someone else's opinion. You know, all those opinions are still there, whether we had the internet to express them in our face or not. And to get a mob mentality online and hide behind a keyboard and come at someone just because they disagree, that's even worse. Because that's a socialistic mentality. You can't be doing that and still have mutual respect and boundaries. So, I mean, I just wanted people to think about that a little bit today, because that stuck with me a little bit. And, you know, with all the scams and all the heartaches and all the tough rules and regulations of the internet already, and everybody trying to make a wave in it, you know, don't come after somebody just to hurt them. It's pointless. It's pointless. So, exactly, Jim. If you guys can't see this, Jim said flat out, have fun with the art and learn to strive and to be better. Exactly. And that's the point, you know. It should be fun. And if you're not having fun with it because you're too busy criticizing other people for having an opinion about you, then you're spending your whole day defending everything. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll discuss anything with anybody, but I don't get into that mess where it gets past a logical point, because then I just say, okay, you win, and there's no need to carry on. I don't have time for that. But that's what the lesson of the day is going to be, definitely, is to, stay away from that stuff. And that's why I'm getting a little bit even more remote now, because I don't want to become untouchable for everybody, but I don't like the idea of the way the internet's going, where everyone thinks that they're getting their 15 minutes of fame, as it were, rather than respecting the fact that this is just a community hangout, like a school, or like a church, or whatever your community choice is. So it should be all about community, not competition, and it should be about respect, not it should be about respecting people, not deflecting what they say. It's okay to have an opinion. It really is. It's cool. It's good stuff. So with that said, I am going to leave this one right here and say this is done. And I hope you guys dig it. Oop, I wanted to put that yellow right in the middle of his eye there, because he has kind of a yellow look to his eyes. And now I'll gray them down just to finish that up. But yeah, don't make this crap personal. It's not. I saw it happen 3 or 4 times today, and it's just ridiculous. And I see it on the political stuff all the time too. I'm not going there. I don't discuss politics like that. It's not for me to talk like that. I don't want to get into it, and it's not for this. I'm about the artwork and about the creativity. So understand that, and that's where it's going. But anyway, all right, man, take it easy. But as far as this goes, we're going to wrap it up on a high note. Remember, we inherited this big rock, and we have it for a limited amount of time. What we do with it is what the next generation receives from us, and this is part of that. Okay, it's not just about resources. It's not just about land. It's not just about taking care of the planet. It's about taking care of each other and leaving a moral compass to function with, and not worry about all that garbage behind the scenes of drama, of people looking for something to hate on. That was the big #1 problem I saw with the people today, is the fact that the people that were flaring up were people that post continuously hate this, hate that, and it's not something we need to be doing. It's just not. And that's going to be a big deal, where government overreach steps in to protect people from harassment and things like that, because of the neglect going on in this phase of the internet. And as a marketer, as a coach, as an artist, as a writer, as a person, as a husband and a father, and a son, a brother, it's just, as a human being, and all those elements of life that I am pursuing, I tell you what, you got to step up and say, this is where it's at, and stop that garbage. So sorry to get too deep on you on this one. I know it's a little deep for this lady especially, but I will catch you guys tomorrow with another one. So until then, you know how it is. We got this rock. Let's leave it better than we found it. Talk to you tomorrow.